Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering as Bo on Turbo Depths leads out with a Urborg. Charlie has a Brainstorm in the main phase, perhaps indicating that he's looking for some free spells. Things like Urza's Bauble, Mishra's Bauble. Probably not Chalice at 0. Even if you think your opponent's on Storm, that is a tough line to take with a deck full of so many 0 casting cost cards. And there we go, Lotus Petal and Lion's Eye Diamond. But that is the extent of the damage. Both of these decks capable of very fast wins, and this is one of those turn 2 2020s. Vampire Hexmage be able to be cast thanks to Dark Depths being a swamp because of Urborg. And Narset is going to dig, really looking for a Echo of Aeons. Short of that, that is going to do it. Bo's going to be able to make a 2020 during the end step by sacrificing Vampire Hexmage to remove all of those counters. You get your legendary 2020 flyer and a quick game 1 as Turbo Depths does what it does. It is a very fast deck. Though, it's interesting because it's really fast in terms of execution. It's not really that fast relative to other decks. Like, it feels really fast, but that's a turn 3. Like, if you're playing against Show and Tell, and they don't try and kill you until turn 3, like, you actually feel pretty good about that. So, Turbo Depths, because of the speed of play, I mean, Bo literally just made 2 land drops and cast a single 2 casting cost creature. It takes seconds to do, and I think it's a really interesting deck for that reason. Psychologically, we're not robots. When we're playing, there are aspects of being human that kind of get in the way sometimes of playing Magic optimally, and one of those is how people play against combo decks. They can play really because of their fear of like feeling bad, getting blown out, losing quickly. Those type of negative emotions can lead people to play either overly conservatively or not conservatively enough, and it's just tough to regulate. And Turbo Depths, I think, is actually a fairly discombobulating deck to play against because it is a turn 3 win, but it just doesn't feel like it. So you can have a hand that will do something on turn 2 or 3 and potentially be relevant, and it may feel too slow, but the reality is it could be fine. Something like a Ice Fang Coatl coming in, chump blocking a Merit Lage could actually be part of a keepable hand. It doesn't have a relevant death touch to it. The minion is indestructible, but if it buys a turn, then you get down an Oko. I mean, the game completely turns around from there. So Turbo Depths, I think, feels faster than it actually is because it literally just casts a 2 casting cost spell, and that's that. Yeah, Charlie's not going to have a ton to block this unless he has the Thopter Foundry combo in there, which is possible. We haven't seen a ton of his list yet. But Thopter Sword, very good versus Turbo Depths, making 1/1 flyers and gaining life. Anything that gets you outside of 20 life versus Turbo Depths is also hugely significant. It is a combo deck pretty much all in on just doing 20 damage in one shot. And if that doesn't kill you, giving you that extra turn to either win yourself or find an answer can really lay waste to that plan. A Brainstorm, the classic response to a Thoughtseize. Prior to that, we were brainstorming in response to Duress before Thoughtseize was printed in Lorwyn. An immediate addition to Eternal formats. Very powerful. Chain of Vapor needing to be taken with the Thoughtseize, as that will eventually mess up the Merit Lage plans, but Charlie looks like he's on Painter Grindstone, and he's landed a Grindstone. With that Lion's Eye Diamond, a Painter Servant will likely be lethal. And we've got a Crop Rotation for Dark Depths. Such a great Magic card. Vampire Hexmage playing out very similar here. Will Charlie be fast enough? There's the Painter Servant, cracking LED. Bo is going to need to mill his entire deck, and he will in fact die to that. There are some cards in the format that you can actually get people with, which Painter Servant is not popular enough to merit this, but I suppose if you have like a really inbred metagame, certainly the first thing that comes to mind is Eldrazi. If you're playing against a Emrakul or Ulamog or any of the Kozilek, the original Eldrazi that shuffle back into the library with your entire graveyard, that's very, very strong. There are also, depending on your deck, some cards that just shuffle themselves instead of your entire graveyard. Things that can be pretty fun. Legacy Weapon, I believe, was the original. That's if it goes into the graveyard from anywhere. It gets shuffled into your library. Then they've printed a few more since then. Blightsteel Colossus. I think Worldspine Worm might be one of those cards as well. The point is you can, depending on the deck, have the ability to end up with one card left in your library. In a really heavy show and tell meta, I'd probably play a single copy of that in my sideboard in like a Oops All Spells deck. That way if they play show and tell, you can put in your Balustrade Spy and not die. You'd end up going through your whole combo, end up with a one card in your library, and then draw that for turn. But it's very specific. That is a really, really specific metagame call. And this shuffling's taking a long time. This is fast effect, so I'm just going to go ahead and skip forward, I guess. All right, we got Urborg Thoughtseize here against a Mull to 5, leaving Charlie with just lands. That is a devastating opening sequence. He's got a cantrip off the top. A Brainstorm. And just passing the turn. Vampire Hexmage with Dark Depths. Bo 3 for 3 in this matchup with making a turn to 2020. Will Charlie have an answer? He's got Ancient Tomb and an island being tapped. Oh, it looks like he actually couldn't quite see it. There's a Echo of Eons being utilized here. Grindstone cracking again for another Echo of Eons. So he picked up a Grindstone out of that. And it looks like Bo making a 2020. What that does is gets the Dark Depths and the Vampire Hexmage into his graveyard, which then gets shuffled back in. Don't know that that's preferable. Really what you're looking for is Elvish Spirit Guide. Ideally. Now, interesting line here. Charlie quickly using Lotus Petal to play Brainstorm, leaving the Lion's Eye Diamond. And a third Echo of Aeons. So that was a decision to be made. That was definitely a decision to make. I think that is likely the correct play. Almost certainly is, but it is worth noting that he could have cracked the Lion's Eye Diamond in response to the Brainstorm. In order to get 3 mana that could be usable for other things besides Echo. So, for example, if he had a little bit more mana, like 1 more mana, he could have potentially found a Painter Servant and activated with like a Lotus Petal or something. But he is just valiantly fighting here, trying to make this work. This 7 not being quickly played out, leading me to believe that this 2020 is likely to get there. Mox Opal and a Chain of Vapor with no additional artifact. Heartbreaking. He's got the Mox Opal. He's got the Chain of Vapor. but no third artifact, so he dies to the 2020 despite drawing 21 extra cards in a hard-fought match. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.